Hey guys, it's PhilosopherKing. How's it going? I hope you're doing well. This next battle is going to be between myself and ajinTupacZ, who, if you're not familiar with, he's a phenomenal player in Adv OU. I mean, he really knows what he's doing. He's been at it a long time, longer than I have, so should be a good battle. And other than that, this battle is going to be profiled on Pokemon Online's YouTube channel, so that's pretty cool. Definitely honored to be able to do that. But other than that, I'm just going to bring you the battle, so here we go. I lead Salamence, he leads Metagross. His Metagross might be choice banded, and even though my Salamence is choice banded, Earthquake will not be able to take it out, but his Meteor Mash will be able to take me out if he's choice banded, so I scout out for that, go to my Swampert. Meteor Mash goes off, I take it pretty well, and I go for Earthquake, and he goes for Hidden Power Grass. We both take a lot of damage, but he's faster, so he will be able to win this battle. Hidden Power Grass is not a move typically seen on Metagross. I mean, usually Rock Slide is the move that's chosen over it, but I mean, it's working great against Swampert, which is probably my only Metagross answer on this team, so I gotta be careful there. I anticipate another HP Grass, go to my Immense, and now the Metagross is within range for Earthquake to kill, so I'm gonna go for Earthquake. He knows that's coming, goes for his Flygon, which thanks to its Levitate ability allows it to take that pretty well, obviously, because it took no damage. And I'm locked in Earthquake, so I'm going to have to switch, which will bring tempo to his side. I am going to scout out for Toxic, because some Flygon like to run that set. So I go to Gengar, which will resist Toxic thanks to it being a poison type. He does go for Toxic, and that allows me to get tempo back on my side, so that's pretty good. I respect my opponent a lot, so I'm not going to go for the obvious Ice Punch, because I know he's going to switch, so I go for Will-O-Wisp. And it connects with the Regice, which I was expecting the Snorlax or the Metagross to take the Ice Punch that was probably going to come, but he went to Regice, which is a pretty good Gengar answer, and most Regice run Rest, so the burn's not really going to matter, probably. I switch my Jirachi in anticipation of Ice Beam. I take it pretty well, despite the crit. I go for Wish as my opponent switches. He brings in Charizard, which is a very dangerous poke. It's not seen too often, which allows it to take many teams by surprise. It also runs like the dangerous Belly Drum set and dangerous subset, so gotta be careful here. But my only answer is Swampert, so I bring it in. Wish takes effect, and that allows it to get to nearly full health. But Charizard's behind a sub, and I'm hoping it doesn't have Belly Drum, because then it would be a short game. But looks like he doesn't have it. He goes for HP Grass, which granted it does a ton, but I'm really glad it doesn't have Belly Drum, or at least it appears to not to. But I do break the sub. And now I'm going to play some mind games. I know he's going to sub up here in anticipation of me switching, so I go for Hydro Pump again, which breaks the sub, and that allows it to get down to 50% health. The Charizard is not getting leftovers recovery, so that damage is there to stay. It probably has like a Papaya Berry or Salic Berry attached to it. I anticipate Hidden Power Grass this time, and I go to my Gengar, which resists it pretty well despite the crit. So yeah, tempo back to my side, and now I have an opportunity to take out this Charizard with Thunderbolt. I could take a risk and go for Ice Punch in anticipation of Flygon, but really, I mean, why would he switch Flygon in? I mean, he resists Thunderbolt, and I guess that's it, because he would have to switch out right away in fear of Ice Punch. So really, I don't see him doing that. Ice Punch is resisted by Metagross, and it's resisted by Regice. So Ice Punch is not really a move that's worth using, so Thunderbolt is the way to go in this situation. He goes to his Regice, and the Regice takes the Thunderbolt, but the burn does some more damage. He's probably going to take this opportunity to rest off, because I am going to be forced to switch here. And I'm going to go to my Snorlax, which should take the Ice Beam pretty well, thanks to it being thick fat, which allows it to decrease the damage Ice Beam would do by half. But he doesn't go for Rest, which makes me think he doesn't have Rest, because he would have used it there. So he may have Explosion. I don't think he's going to use Ice Beam again after seeing how pitiful damage count the Ice Beam did against the Snorlax, so I feel pretty safe to bring the Gengar in to scout out. And he does go for Explosion, which made me feel really happy at the time, because that allows the Gengar to do more damage against his team, because it was pretty much blocked by the Regice alone. So yeah, I feel like I'm in a huge lead at this point. He answers with Executor, which is a very unusual poke, but in this circumstance, it's pretty useful. Most Executor run Sunny Day when they're used, and that's a good support option for Charizard. It boosts its Fire-type moves and makes it even more deadly. But I'm going to have to switch here, because Executors also run Psychic, so go to my Jirachi in anticipation of that, but he does go for Sunny Day as I switch. I feel safe though against the Executor, so I'm just going to go for Psychic in anticipation of the switch. But I overpredict, he stays in and shows me Hidden Power Fire, which does a ton. That really surprised me. I did not expect that, and this Executor is kind of freaking me out, so I make the conservative switch to Snorlax, because I really don't know what moveset it has. Goes for Solar Beam in anticipation of that switch, so good for him. Sunny Day makes it so the Solar Beam doesn't have to charge for 2 turns, so goes off right away, does 33%. But Shadow Ball for my Snorlax is doing 52%, and unless he gets a crit with Solar Beam, I should be able to take it out. But I anticipate him switching, knowing he won't be able to win that battle, so I rest off as the Metagross comes in. And now I gotta decide what I want to switch to against this Metagross. If the Metagross has Earthquake, Jirachi would be a bad switch, and I haven't seen the full moveset from the Metagross, so I'm gonna be really careful here. I'm thinking I'll switch to the Swampert, even though it's at low health. So yeah, that's what I do. I make the safe switch to the Swampert. He goes for Meteor Mash, but he gets an attack raise, which means I'm not really going to want to switch out, because anything I switch out will take a ton from Metagross at +1. So I fire off the Swampert, and I answer with the Salamence. The Metagross is getting to full health, and that means he's getting within range where my Earthquake will not be able to take it out in one hit. So I gotta figure out what I want to do there. That's going to be a problem. I do make a good prediction. I go for Hidden Power Fly on the switch. And I take out the Charizard. I was aiming for the Flygon, but Charizard was definitely the ideal target to take out there, so I'm really happy about that. It was in a position where my team wouldn't be able to handle it, and yeah, my team was not built to fight Charizard, so I'm really happy that threat's gone. But I make an unusual switch to Cloyster, but I'll explain. The Metagross, like I said, is getting within a level of health where it will not be taken out by my Mensa's Earthquake, so I'm going to explode here after taking a Hidden Power Grass. And that'll bring it down to around 44%, and that's good because now I'll be able to answer with my Mence once again and force him to switch out. I could make a predicted switch, or excuse me, a predicted Hidden Power Fly in anticipation of a switch and try to hit the Flygon, but he may stay in here and predict that, and I would look sort of ridiculous. So I take a Meteor Mash to the face, and that wouldn't be good. I'd be locked in a Power Fly, so I'd have to switch, and yeah, the consequences of that are not pleasant. So I make the obvious move and go for Earthquake. But he goes to Flygon, I'm locked into Earthquake, I gotta switch. I go to my Gengar this time because I don't want to get hit by Toxic, and he goes for Rock Slide this time, and I admit that took a lot of damage, but my Gengar is able to live another one, and it's faster, so the Flygon won't be able to even attempt to land another Rock Slide against my Gengar. Once again, I do not go for Ice Punch. I know he's going to switch, and I hit the one poke that has yet to be revealed, which is the Suicune with Will-O-Wisp. So that's good, but my Snorlax is asleep, so I don't want to bring that in, otherwise he has the opportunity to set up against me as my Snorlax tries to wake up. So I stay in with Gengar, go for Thunderbolt. He goes for Surf. I do live, barely. And the burn damage plus the Thunderbolt bring it within range where my Gengar can take it out with Thunderbolt. So the Coon is no longer a threat. He answers with Metagross the following turn. My Gengar is at low health and it will not live a Meteor Mash. But I could fodder it off and go for Will-O-Wisp and make the Metagross completely useless. But then again, Gengar is a valuable poke, so I may just want to go to Jirachi. I haven't seen Earthquake from Metagross throughout the entire game, so that's making me think at this point, at this late stage in the game, that Tupac's Metagross does not have Earthquake. So I'm going to go with my Jirachi. That's the plan. Gengar could be useful later on, and so I just don't want to waste a valuable poke. So I bring Jirachi in, he goes for Meteor Mash. We'll see Earthquake if he has it. I go for Fire Punch, and he goes for Meteor Mash, so that makes me almost certain he doesn't have Earthquake. He gets an attack raise for Meteor Mash, but because I'm faster, he won't be able to take advantage of that. So if he stays in here, he will perish from my Fire Punch. So yeah, he brings Flygon in to answer, which is normally a good answer, but Jirachi gets a lucky burn with Fire Punch. Normally that would only occur 10% of the time, but Jirachi has the ability to Serene Grace, which increases that chance of happening to 20%. So the Flygon's pretty much useless, and to add insult to injury, he goes for Fire Blast and it misses, which allows me to get Wish off. He does take me out the next turn, and that allows me to bring my Gengar in and heal it off. The burn doesn't really matter in the scheme of things. I'm really far ahead, and I was planning to fodder off my Jirachi to Flygon anyway, so it wasn't really much of a factor. But now the Gengar's at 70%, he fodders off the Flygon and in order to bring his Metagross in for free. It's at 31%, I'm confident that Thunderbolt will take it out. It does, and all he has left is the Exeggutor, which, given the low level of health it's at, it will not survive an Ice Punch from Gengar. Even if it did and use Psychic, I would be able to answer Salamence and take it out that way. But he doesn't even wait to see what would happen. He forfeits, and so the final score is 3-1. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this battle. Several key moments. One, the explosion by TupacZ Regice into my Gengar. That was pretty huge. The other notable characteristic about this battle was the way the Metagross influenced my switching decisions. And the other one, probably the Charizard that predicted switch, where I used Thin Power Fly as he brought it in anticipation of Earthquake, so that was really good on my part. If I had gone for Earthquake and he brought like the Charizard in, he would have had the opportunity to sub up again, and we may not even be looking at a close game. He could have just swept my entire team. He really had a chance to do that. But yeah, it didn't go that way. I did win, and I hope you enjoyed the battle. So, this is PhilosopherKing, signing out.